Hello, everybody. How you doing? Hey, this is DJ Ronald Smith. Okay, you definitely know me from the music industry makeover. Okay, and as critical dialogue and 21st century authors and DJ Ron sound sessions. Well, this is just a regular podcast here that I guess I might just call it um, financial liter financial literacy or 21st century finance. So hey, I don't know, but God has been giving me so many ideas. But we're going to be talking about lifechangers2020.com, and my special guest is none other than Edward Gary, my wife's godfather, awesome man of God I've known for years, for 19 years now. And yes, he loves the Lord. He loves his family, has a beautiful family, and is doing some great things for the kingdom and wants to help a lot of people, especially Christians out there who are maybe struggling financially, giving them different ideas for consumer force money and things like that. But hey, how you doing there, Elder Gary? How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm blessed, brother. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Hey, I'm glad to have you. I see you rocking your Michigan Go Blue, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit, So
Just a
yeah,
little bit.
we're
Yeah, just
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you
Yes,
just you
sir.
just got to get past Ohio State. Hopefully.
Hey, that's the goal, man. You gotta have a goal. So we're gonna get there, no doubt about it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, hey, look, won't you tell the people real quickly about yourself and so they can get an idea, and then we're going to get into Life Changes 2020.
Oh, absolutely, Ron. Well, my name is Edward Gary, and I reside in Dayton, Ohio, with my wife for life. The woman of my dreams, Miss Angela Gary, and we've been married for over 40 years, and we've been here in this area um, almost that length of time. Actually, over 38 years of ministry here locally in between Dayton and Troy, Ohio, and we
Hmm.
were blessed to uh, join a ministry where the leader was definitely connected to the Lord. And at the time when I gave my life to the Lord, I was really at a point in my life where I didn't know where to go, what to turn to, struggling in my marriage, just because I didn't know any better. And so we're just thankful that the Lord saw fit to save us, to bring us into ministry, but not only allow us to join a ministry, but to understand what ministry was really all about. And during that time period, I was blessed to get a job at United Parcel Service. I had just got out of the military, a wife, 2 kids, no job. But I was blessed to be hired at UPS, and I made a vow to the Lord. I never forget the day where the representative from that company told me that we're going to hire me. And on my way home, I made a covenant with the Lord, an agreement that if He would bless me with that job, I would always be a blessing. And we talk about having more than enough in ministry, and
Hmm.
always when I came into understanding of how money really works, I've told my pastor on a number of occasions, you can't give what you don't have.
Right,
And so that's just a little bit about how we got started. And there's other key points in my life
right.
that has brought me to where we're at today. Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. So where we're at today is we're going to talk about lifechanges2020.com. Okay, lifechanges2020.com. You see it on there. If you got any questions or comments too, feel free to go ahead on and talk to us. Yes, hi, Veronica. Thank you so much for joining us. She says thank you for your service there in the military there, sir. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
For sure, definitely. So
Absolutely.
tell us about again lifechanges2020.com. So because I'm sure during your time you've seen a lot of Christians struggle financially, and so we need to understand how money works. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Even though I worked at UPS for many years, run as a Christian, I used to see things happening, and I would question the Lord about uh, certain things. I would see other individuals that I worked alongside, at UPS, and they seem to be prospering more than I did. And they would get blessings with having opportunities to get cars at a low price, and be able to buy cars for their wife and their husband. And I would question God on those things. I remember one incident in particular where one of the guys I worked with, he actually had got hired after me. And I was making good money at UPS, top 3% income in the country, actually in the world. And he had bought a car for his wife. Well, his wife boss was selling a car, or bought a new car, and sold his wife the old car. And I asked him how much he paid for it, and he told me $500. And I was like, oh my God, man, you got to be lying. You couldn't get that car for $500. So after that conversation with him, I had a conversation with the Lord, and I said, Lord, why don't you ever bring those type of deals to me? I'm your son. And this is what he spoke to me, Ron. And he asked me a question. He said, why should I tempt you? And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, if I brought a deal to you like that, you don't even have $500 saved. So why should I tempt you with something that you can't even purchase? And I said, all right, that makes sense. And so I began to continue to have these questions in my mind about what was the difference, what was I doing wrong? And I began to figure out, and the Lord began to show me that when it comes to money, there's a principle that operates regardless of whether you save or not save. And it's basically has to do with management. The Bible talks about, being good stewards. If you're faithful a little, the Lord he'll make you Lord and rule over much. But really what did, and what started to change for me, Ron, was 15 years ago. And I know that's precisely because the incident was my granddaughter, who just graduated from Trotwood Madison. She's 18 now. And when she was 3 years old, she was running around in my dining room, where we're living in a 3-bedroom apartment, and single mom and all of that. And the Lord spoke to me and said, when she grows up, she shouldn't have to want for anything. And me being who I am and the type of relationship I had with the Lord, I said, well, Lord, if she's got to depend on me, she's gonna be jacked up. And the Lord specifically spoke to me and said, son, I can do more for you in 1 year than you've been able to do in the previous 48. I'm 63 years old now. So again, I know it was exactly 15 years ago. And so I said, well, Lord, show me. And at that time period, he began to send people in my life. He began to place me in different situations and really give me information to begin to understand how money really works. But what he did and instructed me to do was get into the word and really study the word. I mean, he sent different ones to me that would give me instructions on read the book of Proverbs every day for a year. There's 31 books, chapters in the books in the chapter, 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs. So I did that for years, and I began to get understanding and see what the scriptures were really saying. The Bible says, line the scriptures up, line upon line, precept from precept, here a little, there a little, right dividing the word of God. And I began to test what the word says. I'll give you a prime example. Up until that time period, being and having the size family that we had, we would move from home to home to home to home, whether we got evicted or whether something happened where we just had to move. And I came to the conclusion, and I told my wife, we moved in a 3-bedroom apartment. This is where God spoke to me. And I made a vow to myself. I said, I'm never leaving this place until I can buy a home, whether I can put a huge down payment on it or I can pay cash for it. And so, but God tested me and showed me how to take baby steps. There's a gentleman out there by name of Dave Ramsey, and he has a book. And I forget the title of the book, but inside that book, it talks about baby steps, taking those little small steps when it comes to financing. And so I began to just save every week. When I got paid, I would save a certain amount of money. And then I just began to do that. And after a period of time, I found myself having a number of paychecks that I hadn't even cashed. I think it got up to about 7 or 8 paychecks.
Brother Gary, is that all leading up to Life Changes 2020 there, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All
because
right.
that's when the change came. And so as we go forward, God can show you a vision okay? But it takes time for that vision. I think Miles Rowe talks about it best. You know, God shows you the end, and then he says, come back and let's start over here. But if he shows you everything in the middle, you're pretty much say, I don't want that deal. So what came about is in 2014, the Lord spoke to me and said that he was going to do something very significant with me to help millions of people live the abundant life that Christ died for them to live. And that actually began to manifest itself this year in 2020. I've always had the name of the Life Changers Global Business Network. That was basically what God gave me, a global vision to help people, literally millions of people around the world. And we just use the Life Changers 2020 as a website that people can get in contact with and find some information that they can see if it's something that they're looking for.
Okay, so tell us about Life Changers 2020 or so. What is that?
Well, oh man, it's Life Changers 2020 is I've been privileged to be a part of a lot of opportunities down through the years. I own my own trucking transportation business, on and on and on. And I'm gonna tell you this little short story, and then I'll go right back to the point. But I made a statement about not moving out of the apartment, and when we physically moved out of that apartment, the home that we're living in currently, that I'm sitting in right now, I was able to pay cash for that home when we moved in it over 8 years ago now. And I have other properties that we've purchased, paid cash for, property down south where I'm originally from in Arkansas. And so God has proven himself to me and shown me how money works. So Life Changers 2020 is a way that we can now, especially in this time that we're living in, you know, over 40 something million people have filed for unemployment. People are hurting. You know, a couple of 10, 15 years ago, people were working a job. Now they're trying to work 2 and 3 jobs just to try to provide income for their family. You know, wages aren't going up, they're going down. So this is just a way to leverage yourself with the information if you choose to participate, where it has the potential of generating income. So maybe the mother can stay home when we get back to somewhat a normal type of living, and the father can, you know, be the one to earn the income if that be the case. But it's a way that anyone can earn additional income. You know, it's said that if a household can earn an additional $500 a month, they can probably not have to file bankruptcy. It'll pay for, you know, a car note. It'll buy food, those type of things. So that's a basic concept of the website.
So yeah, so the person that really needs to take a look at this is for those who want to advance themselves financially. So,
well, it's just a vehicle. You know, it's a vehicle. It's not for everyone. If someone wants to personally get in contact with me, because basically that particular website is linked to a company, more of a Fortune 500 type company that I happen to be one of the founders in that company, and I've been given the privilege to be one of the corporate presenters there. And like I said, it's not for everyone, but it's not something that we're not trying to sell anything to anyone. We believe that if you're trying to get from point A to point B and you're in the right vehicle, you can get there. And I use this illustration. If you're trying to get to Hawaii, you could have a Rolls Royce, you could have a Maserati, Mercedes Benz, but to get there, you're going to have to get it either on a ship or a plane. So I consider this as the Learjet. So to get where you're trying to get to.
Okay. Now you mentioned about people wanting to contact you personally. So is there a way to do that?
Yes, they can simply contact me by email. It's my first and last name, Edward Gary, 55 at yahoo.com. That's the best way to get in contact with me.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right. Again, Edward Gary 55 at yahoo.com. If you are interested in getting in contact with him about Life Changers 2020, okay, because again, this is something that's it's like a Learjet, as he would say, whatever vehicle, you know, say the vehicle that you want to get to take to go to the next level, and in your mindset, in your finances, because ideas, or no, money follows ideas. And,
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
everything around you, everything that exists around you started with an idea. The chair, the house you live in, the floors, the doors, that all started with an idea, even this software right here that I'm using. Okay, so you go and check out lifechangers2020.com. All right, fill out the information, go see what they're about. I am definitely a part of it as well. And yes, your life won't change by you just sitting there doing nothing or continuously doing the same thing, expecting new results. That's equivalent to insanity, or as I would say, insane in the membrane. And yes, Elder Gary Jeffs is a man of integrity, and again, I respect him. He looks great at 63 years old. You say, man?
I'll be 64 next month.
64, man. I thought you was 44, man. Look at
yeah, your check's in the mail, Ron. Your check's in the mail, sir. Yeah, I would like to just say in closing, Ron, I've been in ministry for over 38 years, and one thing I do understand that, we preach the gospel, we teach the gospel, and that is very well needed. But at the same time, people need income so they can pay their bills, their utilities, and they can just enjoy this life that Christ died for us to live. He talked about, he shared some with the disciples. He said, I want you to prosper and be in good health, but even as your soul prosper. But he also promised them heaven, but he said, in this lifetime, 100-fold. And there's very few people that I've experienced that has the privilege of living a 100-fold type lifetime. And it's really, like I said, understanding how money works. And when you begin to understand that it's not about just how much money you make, it's more about what do you do with that you receive. That's what helps you become a better steward. Yes, sir. Now, so there's a lot more
in here. We have a comment by Veronica. She wants to know, how does one earn more money? Give us an example. Is it selling, educating the individual? Give us a little bit more details, if you can.
Well, first of all, my philosophy is save money is just as good as earn income. Okay. And so when you can show people or give people information on how they can save money, then they can take that money that builds up after a period of time and apply it towards debt. See, we live in a debit system, and we've been taught certain things throughout our whole life, good credit and all of that. But it's very it was very interesting to me how that the banks are the ones that really benefit the most. I give you an example. If you run as an individual, go to the bank and put your money in the bank, after a period of time, they give you a small return of interest on your money. Right. Well, the bank itself doesn't own money, use customers' money, and then they'll turn around and they'll give me a loan, which is actually your money or your neighbor's money or someone else, and they'll charge me anywhere to 5, 6, 7, 8% interest if my credit is good, or more if it's worse. And at the end of the year, they keep the balance of the interest for themselves and invest it into stocks and in the Forex market and different things of that nature, and they pay you 0.1% and say, thank you, sir, for allowing us to serve you. So the mentality is that we have to change the way we use money. We have to look at it. Is this an investment or is this going to put me in a deficit? And the problem being is that we as human beings, we don't like to wait on anything. So instead of saving $100,000 to buy a home, which is possible, we would rather get $100,000 loan and pay over a 30-year period, probably 3 times as much as what we borrow. So it's a change of mentality. But again, the basic 101 when it comes to understanding how money works. If you can save more than you spend, then you're headed in the right direction.
That's good. That's wise wisdom right there. It just takes a disciplined mentality. But as Dave Ramsey would say, a gazelle-like mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Look at the goal.
Yeah. And with the Life Changer 2020 website, you're going to see on there opportunities to do what people are doing already. So if you're doing what you're already doing, and you don't have to change the human mentality or what we do on a daily basis, you do certain things just out of, that's what you're used to doing. That you're used to getting up and getting ready to go to work, and you drive to work and all of that. You don't have to think about it, in other words. And so you can get to a point in your finances where you're conscious of your spending. You're conscious of what this is going to cost me in the long run. Is it going to benefit me, or is it going to put me in a deeper hole of debt where it may take me, my children, after I'm dead and gone, are still paying for that debt. So with the Life Changers 2020 website, we help people save on things that they're already doing, so you don't have to change the human mentality or what we do naturally.
That's good. Okay, awesome. Again, lifechangers2020.com. If you're interested, go check it out. All right, some great information on there. We want to thank them for being one of the sponsors for the Music Industry Makeover, and we will continue to push them. Again, if you want to change your life, you have to do something different. Okay, and yes, I know you can pray to God, and ask Him to bless you, and He will do that. He's giving you the ability to obtain wealth. I met a lot of great spirit-filled individuals who are broke, who don't know how to understand, who don't know how to handle money. Okay, and they ask the Lord to bless them, but as soon as they get it, it's gone. So let's educate ourselves on how currency works. All right, learn how to save, get in the mindset of saving, so that you can be a financial blessing to others out there. Not just pray for it all the time. Say, oh yeah, hey, or hey, I speak blessings over you. You have the capacity to do it once you learn to understand money, save. Okay. So awesome. Hey, Elder Gary, we sure appreciate you coming on. Again, for those who would like to get in contact with him, all right, make sure you go ahead and email him. All right, Edward Gary 55@yahoo.com. All right, and he would gladly take your questions or comments or so. Anything that you want to know about Life Changers 2020, because you don't want to stay the same way that you are today. You want to change and start building on your future. All right, the choices you make today will affect you tomorrow. All right, Lord's willing. All right, sir. Hey, again, God bless you. Thank God for you and your wife, man. I'm 64 years next month. Praise God, man. That's a blessing.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Ron, man. I love you, man. God's blessings on you. The word that you're getting out to help literally, hundreds of thousands of people and even millions. So look forward to the future, sir.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Yes, sir. Yes, Veronica. A whole bunch of spirit-filled folks out there, and it's got, okay, look, that's not what I want for my life. No. All right. So yes, these supernatural blessings, and once they get them, they end up losing them because they don't have the right mindset to maintain them. So no, let's be smart with our money out there. All right. Well, hey, look, remember, guys, you matter in the kingdom of God, so don't compare yourself or your ministry to anyone else out there. Just do what God has called you to do, and you will be just fine. Okay. Hey, don't forget to tune us in tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Okay, 9 o'clock tomorrow. It's the Music Industry Makeover. Yes, we're going to have Gerard Goldsmith of Diamond Life Concerts. He's going to be on with us, and we're talking about the music industry from a promoter's standpoint. And so, yes, it's going to be an awesome show tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Spread the word right here on my page or wherever you see us broadcasting on. I want to say hello to those who are watching on 24/7 Praise Radio, as well as Grown Folk Gospel, and on YouTube as well too. All right, and also Music Industry Makeover profile page. God bless you. We'll see you. Peace.